Welcome, superstar. In this video, I'm going to share with you what is wealth dynamics. So first I'm going to get into some of the roots and background of wealth dynamics, including a little bit about its creator. And then I'm going to dive into the structure of it, what it is, how it works, and how it applies to you, and maybe help you even discover some new things about yourself that you didn't know. Let's go. Wealth dynamics was created by Roger James Hamilton, and it's outlined in very much detail in his book, Your Life, Your Legacy. Now, I first came across Roger James Hamilton and wealth dynamics because of my coach at the time. Her name is Jody Johnson. She's an action coach in South Florida. Shout out to Jody. And she was the first one to introduce me to this because I was really struggling at the time in my business. I was struggling with what I should be doing, what direction I should move in, what kind of services and products I should be offering. And she had just discovered this tool, I think, and invited me to take this test. Now, I got the results of the test, and it was a game changer for me. After some initial resistance to the truth about who I was and what my wealth dynamics type was, I was really able to gain a new appreciation for myself and start to reorganize my business to align better with my actual nature, with my actual gifts and strengths. Now, the irony of all of this is that I had a background in personality types. I was certified in Myers-Briggs. I had led Myers-Briggs workshops. I had told other people about how they could be more aligned with their true self. But even knowing what I knew about myself with Myers-Briggs, it took wealth dynamics and Jody Johnson to really help me to see how I needed to bring my business into greater alignment with my true self. So that background out of the way, why don't we jump in and get to know wealth dynamics? And by the way, before I jump into this and explain it to you, I want to say don't take this or any test too seriously. This is not meant to pigeonhole you into a box or to limit your possibilities. It's simply a way to get to know yourself better, to ask better questions about who you really are and what you really want to do. All right? So that out of the way, let's get started. The wealth dynamics is based on 4 core energies. There's the energy of dynamo, and the energy of dynamo, I liken it to the energy, it's like a light bulb. It's the beginning, it's the idea, it's the foundation, it's the creation, it's the innovation, it's the invention. The second type of energy is blaze. And blaze is really the energy of love. It's warmth, it's heat, it's connection, it's intimacy. The third type of energy is called tempo, and tempo is obviously time. So it's the energy, it's very grounded energy. It's the energy of execution, of getting things done, of things in the concrete world. And you can see that it's kind of in opposition to dynamo. So if the dynamo, Roger likes to say, if the dynamo's head's in the clouds, the tempo's person is their feet are on the ground. And then the final type of energy is steel energy. And I think of steel as the energy of like a spreadsheet, organization, data, analysis. Every single one of us, generally, most of us anyway, have some combination of all 4 of these types of energies. The type of energy, generally, one of them is dominant in each person. Now, there are people out there that have equal parts of 2 energies like I do. I have equal parts dynamo and blaze. So when you have different variations or different compositions of these energies, you get different personalities, different archetypes. So the person who's dominant in creator, in dynamo energy, is called a creator. The creator is the innovator, is the person who invents things and creates them. Walt Disney is a great example of a creator. The person who's dominant in blaze energy is called a supporter. Supporter people are nurturers, they're lovers, they're supportive and helpful and willing to jump in and help people. And they love to do things with people, especially one-on-one, but not only one-on-one. Then down here, the person who's dominant in tempo energy, we call that a trader. And a trader is someone who knows really well when things need to happen, right? The timing of things. They tend to be good, like a stock trader, someone who knows, oh, now's the time to buy this, or Now's the time to sell that. They have their ear to the ground and they're listening deeply to what's going on. They know when things need to happen. So the creator is very much about what, the supporter is very much about who, the trader is very much about when, and the steel, the person who's dominant in steel, the Lord, is all about the how things are going to get done, the steps and the planning and the process. When we combine energies, right, when we have someone who's dominant in both dynamo and blaze, we get the star. The star is someone who loves to create in service of people. So we've got the star, which combines the qualities of the creator and the supporter. That's, by the way, my personality, my archetype. Then we also have the combination of the blaze with the trader, the blaze with the tempo. And when we combine blaze with tempo, we get a deal maker. And so deal makers are very good at serving people and knowing what people need and when they need it in a certain moment. So a lot of times, actually, deal makers, this is not the best word for this. They're great in business and making deals, but beyond business, often you'll find deal makers as firefighters or police officers, people who are there to support people now, in the moment, when they need it. When you combine this tempo energy with the steel energy, you get the accumulator. So my dad is an accumulator, and accumulators do really well by knowing when to acquire, when to let go of things. They're great at, the trading piece and the analysis to amplify the trading. So my dad walks around always with his little book where he writes down all of his investments and he keeps track of things and he's always adjusting and fine-tuning it. And that's that combination of these two energies. And then finally, when we combine that analytical strength with that creative power, we get the mechanic. And the mechanic is the tinkerer, the person who is constantly upgrading and up-leveling the system and making it better and better and better. So they're using this dynamo to invent the next iteration of something and combining it with the analysis of that thing to make sure that things are working. Now, before I continue with this very valuable information, I want to take this opportunity to invite you to subscribe to my channel, like this video, maybe even post a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. So this is wealth dynamics in a nutshell. And to go even a layer deeper as an entrepreneur, one thing you want to think about is how are you building your business? A lot of times in the world of corporate expansion and in my MBA, for example, we're often taught to move around the circle this way, meaning counterclockwise, which means we create an idea, we figure it out, we build the thing, we analyze it and improve it, make it better, we create a project launch plan from that analysis, then we go out and try to sell it, we do customer service, we promote it, and then we iterate on the idea. The problem with that, if you're like me, if you're a coach, a consultant, a speaker, an expert, and what you're selling is your time, this is a very expensive way to build a business because it requires you to invest your resources up front in development. A better way, in my humble opinion, to grow an entrepreneur business like ours, an expert business, is to build it this way instead, to go clockwise. And the reason that's better is because it doesn't drain our resources. We create an idea and we go out and promote it and we sell it. And then from the selling it, we create a project plan to launch it, put it out into the world, improve on it, make it better, and then iterate on it. The beauty of this going around this way is that we collect the money before we actually build the product. And what ends up happening is that if we can't sell it, sell the idea of it, sell the plan of it, then we might go back to the drawing board and be able to iterate on it again and then come back out and sell it. This idea of if we build it, they will come, it works great in the movies and if you have a big budget. But if you're operating on a shoestring, if you're launching something new, if you're a solo entrepreneur, if what you're selling is your time or your energy, I highly recommend considering going this way and putting it out there and what I call selling it first and figuring it out later. Another really interesting thing that wealth dynamics can teach you is the order in which you can build your team. This is something that comes from more of a deeper analysis of this test. And I don't even remember who I first heard it from. It might be in the book, Your Life, Your Legacy, or it might be in the podcast interview I did with Roger, which you can find in the notes below. When you're done with this video, go and check out the interview I did with Roger James Hamilton about wealth dynamics. But what we look at is, for example, we're always looking to have at least 3 points on the circle. 3 points is the way to capture the most of the circle with the least amount of resources. So what that means is, if you're a creator like me, for example, what you'll want is you'll want to have some sort of, you'll want either 1, 2 spots over or 3 spots over. So something in this neighborhood as your second point. And then you'll want something over here in this neighborhood as your third point. So, if you're a dynamo creator, you might want a supporter, deal maker, something like that, so that you can create the idea. Somebody else can go out and sell it. Somebody over here is helping you to execute it, track the money in, the money out. If you're a star over here, then your second person is probably somewhere down around here, like a deal maker or trader, and your third person is probably up here to help you iterate and analyze. Wherever you are on the wheel, you'll want to kind of look 2 to 3 spaces over for that first hire to the clockwise direction, 2 or 3 spaces over for that second hire, so that you hit all the points on the circle and then start to flesh out your team that way. If you are a coach, a consultant, a speaker, or any kind of expert looking to grow your business and to do it in a way that's aligned with who you really are and what your vision is, then let's connect. You can book time with me on my calendar at superstardiscoverycall.com or just click on the link below.